Hello everyone, this is Tuba Mirza and welcome to Recoding. All the code used inside this video are mentioned inside the description box. So if you like the work we are doing and if you're learning something from our videos, please do subscribe to our channel and share it with your group because your subscription will make this type of video happen in the future. So without any further ado, let's get started.
Relationship in core data is always a better choice as it helps developer to separate data into different tables. Also, it allows user to a safe access of required data, not the full access of data to the view if not required. It helps to safeguard the data when not in use. As when developer perform fetch request, it can be able to perform whole data search from the core data at once. So you don't always need to provide unnecessary data fetching for each views. You can easily pass into another view when necessary. When fetching for relationship, developer can easily be able to fetch according to their choice what table they want to access and what not. In this video, we are going to learn how to use core data having a one-to-many relationship. So, what is one to many relationship? In a one to many relationship, one record in a table can be associated with one or more records in another table. For example, suppose we have a company and it has some departments and there are many employees inside each department. So, one employee can go to only one department, so a department can have many employees. Let's take a graphical approach. We have two entity, one is department while other entity is employee. As we can see, the arrow has two heads, which helps us to understand it has one-to-many relationship. So we can see a department can accommodate as many as employee they want. Talking about other example of this type of relationship, we always see this type of relationship in real world day-to-day example. For example, when we need to create a tag which we use to store different inside it. One-to-many relationship can also be used when we try to create a tag and item relationship, as a tag can have many items inside it. We can also use one-to-many relationship with class and student cases, as a class can have as many students as they want. Let's see how it works behind the scene. Suppose we have two entity or table called as employee and depart. We can say employee table has employee ID, department ID, and employee name as attribute or column. While we see department entity, it has department ID and department name. Inside employee entity, we can see department ID which stores same ID from department entity. So while fetching the data, we are able to fetch using department ID inside employee entity. So this is how in background one-to-many relationship works. But CoData made this step pretty easy and you don't have to use these steps. Let's check out demo of our app. Our app is basically as app for organization which will manage its employees and department. It can create a department by tapping on the building icon on right top and add its name and hit save. Then we add some more department. After adding it, we add an employee by tapping on person button and the following details. Select its department and hit save. Add bunch of more employees. Then we can delete each employee from the app and also delete a department which deletes the all employee inside it altogether. So before we get ahead in the video, we highly recommend you all to watch our previous core data videos. Introduction to core data using MVVM architecture, and core data one-to-one relationship. There is also a playlist mentioned in the description below, so do watch it. Recording is on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Make a small contribution or donations to help us grow our medium. We still offer free content on YouTube and other writing platforms. Also, don't worry, there are other ways to support us. Share us on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media formats with your friends and ask them to subscribe. The links are inside the description box. Now, let's start learning by a practical approach. Create a Xcode project with code data option checked. So, the project looks something like this. We have created some of the file for our views beforehand, but don't worry, we'll look into it later. First, open the XE model data file and create an entity of department. Add attributes of ID as UUID and name as string. Create another entity of employee and add attributes of name as string, profile image as binary data, and open site panel allows external storage to true. This will save less data on database and save data on folder inside private app file. Age as integer 16 and ID as UUID. Add the relationship for employee to department, set destination to department. Inside department entity, add relationship of department to employee and set destination to department. And add the inverse value to employee relationship. Inside graphical view, we are able to see the department and employee has established one-to-one relationship. We are also able to say while we see the arrow of both sides showing single arrow head to make one-to-one relationship. Select department entity and then select the department to employee relationship. Open the side panel and go to type and select type to many. Now we can see the arrow has two heads on the employee side. This shows we have established one-to-many relationship. But there are some changes we have to make with our entity class, as out of the box, core data relationship have some essential feature we need to fetch the employee according to department. To fix that, we need to create the department class manual. Select the department entity and inside side panel. Inside code gen section, change it from class definition to manual, which we need to generate the department entity by ourselves. To do so, go on menu bar editor section. Then select the option of create NSManagedObject subclass. Then select the data model and click next. Then select the department entity. Click next. Save it inside shared folder and save the file. Now we can see the department class has automatically generated by Xcode. It creates a file of a data class and a properties of data. Open the properties file. Here we can see there are different attributes which we added inside XCData model class. We can also see our relationship as NSManaged class. We can see that it is confirmed to NSSet. This might create error in future as NSSet is more generalized data class and NSSet can have any value which are unique, either an integer or string. But we only need to save the value of employee class, not any general value. But we are able to provide any NSSet value and it will not show error until our app run or simulator or real world, and that time it will make the app crash. To safeguard that process, we need to fix it. To fix it, we need to make if confirm to set class and add the employee. This will help the interpreter to recognize we are entering wrong value and it will stop to added wrong value inside it. For fetching all the employee that belongs to each particular department, we need to create an employee variable which is public so we can access this value outside the class. Then we confirm it to array of employee entity. Then inside the closure, We set create a let of set of employee which is equal to a relationship of department to employee. Then finally we return a set as sorted array according to ID of the first to ID of the second employee for each of item inside the set of employee and set our employee as required. Now let's work on our app views. Open Add Department view. Inside it, we require the view context from environment. Then dismiss also from environment. Then we add a state for department named as empty string. Then inside body, we add navigation view. Then add form along with text field. And add button which has action to dismiss the view. Add some modifier to button like frame, button style, button border shape and tint. Now let's create a private function for saving department details. Inside it, create a let as new department, then add department entity and add the view context inside it. Then add ID as UUID and name as department name state. Inside do catch block, we save the data. Add print error if any. Then this function inside save department button. Then inside the content view, we create a new fetch request. Then add sort descriptors. Then create a private variable as departments which conforms to fetched result. Now inside sort descriptors as NSSortDescriptor class, add key path and ascending parameters. Then inside key path, add backslash department entity and sort it using name and add ascending value to true. Then inside the list view, create a for each view, add department's fetched result inside it. Then inside the closure, we add department in and add the navigation link. Inside destination parameter, add a normal text view showing inside department. Inside the label, we are going to show a text which will show the name of each department, and for nil value, we add empty string. Then inside toolbar, add toolbar item group view. Inside it, add button, to button for opening, add department and add employee views respectively. Then create two state, one for adding department and the other for adding employee. And add toggle value for each of the state inside the respective button as an action. Then add label for each of the buttons. Add navigation title modifier. And create a sheet modifier for adding a sheet view. Inside in presented parameter, add department view. Now run app on simulator and add a department. Here department has been added. We can see that we have created two buttons inside toolbar, but we won't be able to see both the buttons because we need to provide the placement parameter inside toolbar item group view as leading. Create another sheet for adding the add employee view. Now work on add employee view. First, take a look, we have already created some of the required value. As we require the view context and dismiss from environment, then we create a some state variable like person name as empty string, person image as UI image initializer, person age as empty string, and add image picker as false. Create another state variable for selected department as department initializer. Then we create a fetch request again for departments as we need to create a picker view, which will help to select department and add the picked value to selected department variable. Then inside the body, we have created a navigation view, form view, then add a vstack inside it, add an image view with some modifier. Then add a button view to toggle the value of image picker view. We have already created an image picker which will open the image picker view provided by UIKit. And below the button, we add a sheet modifier which shows the image picker view. Then add text field for person name, another text field for person age, and add keyboard type as decimal pad so that it will only show number keyboard when used by user. Then below it, we create the save button which will close the add employee view. Above the button, add a picker view. Add the string title for selecting department. Then inside selection, we can pass a selected department variable as binding. Then inside the closure, we can show a for each. This will take our department fetch request result and show text view inside it as name of each department. We need to add the ID as self. Let's now create save employee function. Create private function below. Then create a let new employee which equals to employee entity initializer and add view context inside it. Then add the respective value of each attributes of employee entity, like ID as UUID, name as person name variable, age as integer 16, then add person age variable. This will save the value of person as integer 16. Then add the profile image as variable, person image and save its PNG data. Then we provide a relationship of employee to department which is equal to selected department. Then create a do catch block and save the data. And add this function inside save button. Now open the add and save the employee data. But we still have not created a view for reading the employee data. To do so, create another SwiftUI file as employee details cell. Add observed object of variable as employee which confirms to employee, so this will require the employee entity. Then inside the body, we create the view. Create a VStack inside it, add HStack. Then we check if the employee image is not nil. Then we show the image as UI image and add the UI image data parameter and add the profile image data inside it as we save it binary data. Add some image modifier. Then create another VStack with alignment leading. Inside it show person name and age as text view. Add the employee cell inside the navigation link destination. Create a for each block and use the department employee array which we have earlier created in the starting of the video, which will consist array of employee in relationship with department. Inside the closure for each employee, we show the employee details cell and pass single employee inside it. Now run the app. Add the list view and inside it add a for each block. Below it add navigation title. So here we can see our list of person. Now create a delete function for department. It will take an offset which conforms to index set inside the closure. And a for each indexed inside offset. We create a let for department to delete which equals to department fetch result and add our index inside the array. Then use do catch block. And add view context delete function and pass the department to delete object. And save the context. Inside employee details cell, create a function to delete the person. Inside it, create a let to employee to delete which equals to employee variable. Then require the view context from environment. Then use view context delete and pass the employee to delete object inside it. Then save our view context. And inside catch block print the error. Create a swipe action below the main VStack. Add edge as trailing. Inside it, create a button for deleting the data. And add delete employee function inside action. Now inside the content view file, add our onDelete modifier below for each block and add our delete department function. Now run the app in simulator and delete the data. So here we can see that our data has been deleted. Now check inside the database how our delete rule managed the database. We have already added some argument to check where the database file is. You do so by clicking on Edit Scheme button, and inside argument pass these two arguments inside it, and hit close and run the app again. Here we can see that the core data database location. Open the Finder, press Command Shift and G and paste the location inside it, and hit enter. Open the file inside SQLite app. Here inside each of our entity, we have no data inside it. Now add some data. Here we can see that the data has been added inside database also. Open XCData model. Click on the side panel and see the option panel. Tap on department to employee relationship. Here we can see that by default core data set delete rule as nullify, and inside the employee also the same delete rule. But this is wrong in this case. Check out this situation. When we remove the department altogether and check the database, we can see department is gone, but the employee still remains, but without the relation. We need to set the department to employee delete rule to cascade, which will delete both employee and department when department is deleted. So here we can see that data has also been deleted from database. Delete rule can also work according to your choice and need, so always use wise delete rule which will work for your data entity. So this is how we can use one-to-many relationship inside core data.
And yes, let us know what you liked or disliked about this video in the comment section. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. And yes, do not forget to suggest some more topics. For now, I'll be signing off. We'll definitely see you all in the next video.